All right, welcome everybody, and thank you for tuning in today. You are listening to WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM WRUU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul. I am your host, Adam Messer, and this is the Adam Messer Show. And my special guest, this is the second hour, but my special guest today is Mick Orton from the Silvers. Welcome back, Mick.
Hi, thanks.
And the first hour we played a couple of different songs. We played Lonely Little Christmas Tree, and we played Nothing Left to Say, and we played Try a Little Kindness. And I really think those were pretty cool songs. So anybody just tuning in just right now, you can go back and listen to the first hour on the podcast, theadammessershow.com. But just a little recap. Mick Orton and his bandmates have a group called the Silvers, and it's like an easygoing beach music style. Well, you know what, Mick, we could go ahead and just play a song and let people kind of get a flavor for it. I want to play "Out of This World" because that's how I'm feeling right now. It's like, I'm feeling pretty cool, like kind of laid back. So let's play that. So this is out of This World by the Silvers, everybody.
To keep them both always see. Out of this world, you send me. Out of this world, can't you see that you're driving me mad? And you think that sounds bad, but it's not. And you act like you're here from Mars, or perhaps it's some distant star, and you're making no sense. You're a big jumbled mess. It's a joke. Just be happy that we let you stay, but it doesn't matter anyway, 'cause the word is that you're going back where you belong. Out of this world, it's a shame. Out of this world, you're to blame, and you're making me crazy, but I'm not getting angry, 'cause I'm through with you. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And don't let our thoughts chase you away, but it doesn't matter anyway, 'cause the truth is that you're going back where you belong. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't you know the world will survive, and you know we may even thrive when you're only a memory, and I'm sure that you won't be coming back. Ooh.
Dude, that was really cool.
Oh, glad you liked it.
Really cool.
Just for your listeners, when he's playing music, I can't hear it.
Oh
you
yeah,
think
yeah.
3
There's something with the
minutes-
soundboard. I don't know. I mean, I have the jack on,
Well,
and I've
it's
got
just
you
funny because
in there and all.
you forget how long 3 minutes is.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
the 3 minutes of silence. I go, "Whew, is he coming back yet? Is he coming? Oh, okay, all right."
Yeah, the
So I
eternal
had time to
doom
run
of
and get my
silence.
doggy a little greenie. He started
man.
bugging me. He gets his greenie at 1:00 Pacific time.
Oh, okay, okay.
Not to be denied.
Well, go ahead and take care of Bo.
No, he's done. I got
Oh,
it.
he's
I ran
good.
during
Bo's
the
good.
song.
Okay, good. You know, we started like wrapping up the last hour talking about your band and your bandmates, and you want to encourage kids to start playing music again.
Yes.
Yeah, so that I think is really cool because, with my wife and my kids, we always had them involved in like sports and dance, and my daughters both did ballet, since they were little. Bass was always into soccer and stuff, and then he wanted to get into music, and I was like, well, I mean, how many guitars do you think I picked up? Now he's old enough now; he's got a job and all, but how many?
Quite a few. Started out with that first one, and then
it's like he got the itch.
Traded
Yeah.
and sold and stuff.
Yeah.
Sold stuff.
This little joker has learned how to like repair, and when he worked at the pawn shop, he doesn't work there anymore. But when he worked at the pawn shop, he was the music guy because he could do repairs. He could, do restringing. He could, tune it up, that kind of stuff. And like this is the funniest thing. One time there was a guy that came in. He's like, "Oh, there's something wrong with this guitar. There's something wrong with this guitar." And then Sebastian just starts shredding on it. And he's like, "I don't know what's wrong with it."
I wasn't shredding on it.
I was like, man. He's like,
Yeah,
I don't know what's wrong with this
Midwest,
guitar.
we
He's
used
just
to
sitting there
have
playing and playing.
Used to have some good deals you could get from pawn shops, and anymore people are selling stuff online, so it's hard to find good used equipment.
Oh yeah. Say what, Bass?
It's hard to find like gems coming in there.
Yeah. Well, the one he's got now is an Ovation guitar, and
Ovation, yes.
yeah. You said Jim Croce played those?
Yeah, Jim Croce. I think the Beatles, Metallica play some.
Yeah. You started off kind of with the 6-string electric.
I think the very first one was that one that you had bought us when we were younger. It's like that Johnson.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then the 6-string electric.
the starter
was the one
guitar.
I started learning more on.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You get the starter guitar, and the action's so high, your fingers get all bloody from playing. And when you're young and you're really into it and really learning, and you play it all the time, you're on there for hours and hours.
Yeah.
Pretty soon you got calluses and all kinds of stuff. So I took my Fender Strat in, the one I write music on, because my bass I play a Hofner, but for writing songs and playing guitar, I got my Stratocaster. I took it into the music shop and had the expert set it up so that a bass player could even play it,
Oh wow.
So the action is really nice on it, and it stays in tune, and it's a great guitar. It sounds good, it plays good, and it's fun to play.
I think that's a
And it's
key
easy
is
for me
like,
to-
the kids, like anything, not just kids, but anybody, is if you're enjoying it and you're having fun with it, and it brings you happiness, do it. I mean, playing music is, I feel like, a great thing. I mean, I'm not a musician, but like I got into playing ukulele, and I was like, oh, I just love that. I've only learned a couple of chords, but Sebastian started learning how to play, and then the guitar, and then all of a sudden he's like with the ukulele, and I'm like, man, but I can tell you the difference. I'll tell you why. It's not because he's younger and he can learn quicker because I'm getting older. It's not that. It's because of his dedication and the practice and practice and practice. I didn't spend, the hours and hours and hours learning how to play. I would just, dilly-dally, dabble around with it. And kind of going back to when you were talking about that Malcolm Gladwell thing, and that's what I was trying to hit on the last hour too, is like, there's a difference between like having an idea and then doing stuff and then executing on it. Like having like, okay, well, we're going to put this album out. How are we going to go from like, I've got this, this hook in my head that, just popped in while I was playing golf to I've got, a song that's going to be out on an album, in London. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, well, there's a certain point where, I don't know, something magical happens, and I don't want to get too airy-fairy, but bottom line is that a lot of it comes, inspiration. There's a lot of perspiration that goes into it, and you work on it. Work on it, but at some point there's got to be some inspiration, and I don't know where all that comes from, but there's a lot of it's a gift. It just happens, and it's very
I love it.
magical when it does.
I love it. One of the things that I think of, and I've said before, is there's a lot of inspiration from perspiration. You find inspiration doing the work. You know.
Well, that's true, yeah. And some days I don't come up with anything, and I just sit here and hack on the guitar for an hour or two or three,
Nice.
and come up with nothing. And then some days, like I say, I'm walking the dog and I get an idea for a song.
You're like,
hey, where does that come from?
Bo is sending it to you. Bo's like, here's a lyric, here's a lyric, Mick. I'm throwing you a bone, Mick.
Yeah. Well, Out of This World came. We were working on the Silver Surf City cartoon series, and there's, I think I told you, 4 episodes up on YouTube. And we were going to have the aliens come in, because this is all about anti-bullying, right?
Right,
so the bullies
right.
come in, and the guys come in from outer space, and they start bullying, and they beam people up and start being mean to them, and the music comes on, and it solves all the problems. And so this was, the Out of This World was supposed to be that. The other day we were talking about it could have been Old Girlfriends too, Out of This World.
Yeah, I like that one line, that one lyric. Like, I don't remember the words exactly, okay, because I just heard it for the first time, like everybody else. I mean, like literally everybody. I'm just now hearing this for the first time. I wanted to get the same feeling, Mick, listening to it for the first time on air, like the audience is.
Sure.
And so, but one of the lyrics was like, even though I'm angry, I'm not going to let you get under my skin or something like that. And I was like, oh, or like, I'm not going to lose my cool type thing. And I was like, how many times do you have to do that in life? It's like, you got to keep your cool. And, sometimes you lose your cool, especially if somebody's trying to, gaslight you, or they're trying to, harass you. I mean, like one of the things I've learned about bullies and people like that, or just people in general that are evil people, they like hurting people. Narcissistic people that are bullies and stuff like that, they get enjoyment out of making somebody else miserable, and they don't like it when they can't make you miserable. So, it's good to...
Right.
It's good to have that perspective.
We feel like music is kind of the answer, and you'll find in our songs the message is that music is an answer. That's why I like to get people kids into bands and start playing music.
Yeah.
Because when
get them off the computer,
and
get them off the phone.
Exactly.
That's one of the things. I mean, like I was always really, my wife and I were always really adamant about our kids not being on social media while they're growing up, because social media is so fake anyway about a lot of stuff. I mean, it's like a lot of folks just want to show you like a window of whatever, and and honestly, like a friend and I, we had a conversation about this, like before social media, before all this stuff or whatever, like I really didn't want to know what everybody was eating, or I didn't want to know what you had for lunch. I really didn't care, and if I talked to you like once a week, that was pretty frequent.
Yeah.
Like we were good friends if we were talking like once a week,
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, too much information shared sometimes. You go,
yeah,
boy,
yeah.
Did I need to see that?
No, and like for some reason, human nature, people, everybody has like negative thinking. We all do. But being a positive person doesn't mean you don't have negative thoughts. It just means that you manage them differently, right? And I like the idea that you have with a positive message. And it's kind of nice because it's different. I would love to see more people being genuinely positive, not superficially being positive, where they're like trying to just get people to follow them, like, oh, the saintly thing and whatever. It's just nice to see somebody's like, hey, we want to make music, we want to kind of share that and get kids excited about it. And I love how you're doing the cartoons with it, and like I was saying on the Facebook Messenger, talking about Facebook and social media, it just reminded me a lot of like Scooby-Doo, the cartoons, the Scooby-Doo with the animation stuff. And you remember the music videos in the Scooby-Doo show? They used to have all the music videos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
do you? And did you get my joke? Because you wrote something about you do, and then you wrote do again. I said do.
It was a typo.
Yeah, and then I thought, well, he didn't get the joke.
Oh, I got it. I just
you did later.
Daggum, no, I got it because the daggum thing
don't
was
do
typing.
Here.
Right.
Yeah.
Scooby Doo don't. Scooby don't do here.
That's an inside joke, folks.
Yeah, it's an inside outside joke. Yeah.
Right. Now we let it out.
Yeah, it's out now. Yeah. But yeah, I love that that you're doing that, Mick, and you and your bandmates are doing that, because I mean, like it takes a group of people, and if you, like you said before, you've got to just want to really do it, or otherwise it's not going to get done. So.
Yeah. Well, I really love playing with this new band. I mean, these guys are just great. It's, we get regular rehearsals, and we just have fun when we do it. It's a lot, it's really joyful.
Yeah. Everybody, you listen to WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRUU.org. We are Savannah Sonics Community Radio with Global Soul. This is the Adam Messer Show. If you're just now tuning in, thank you, and hope you like the show. I'm Adam, and I'm the host. Bass, do you want to play some... since we played some silvers at the beginning of the hour, you want to play some? And I want to, something else I like to do too, Mick, is I like to do shout outs on the show. Do you have anybody you want to do a shout out?
Oh boy. Well, I kind of mentioned the guys like Tom Kelly. I also mentioned Dane Bedford-Pugh, who's a guitar player, our lead guitarist. I've got Steve Farrack, who plays accordion and guitar and keyboards. And then we've got Carl Up the Grove, who's our drummer. And, we've got Drew is out there. Probably, maybe he'll be listening. I don't know. He did our mixing and mastering for our new songs. Anybody else that's listening, if I didn't mention your name, drop me a line and I'll think of you in my prayers,
Nice. Yeah. I want to give a shout out to all the creators out there who are tuning in and listening. Because it's not easy to do to actually follow through and to do stuff. So I just want to encourage you to keep on keeping on, and something that came to me talking about inspiration, Mick. This is something that came to me today because I had a conversation with my son last night. I was talking about the show and trying to like having you on the show and talking about. I wasn't specifically talking about you and the Silvers, but I was talking about wanting to do stuff that the audience would find interesting or whatever, and I thought having music on or whatever, having a guest playing music on would be pretty cool. And Bass actually said something to me. What do you remember what you said, Bass? It was something like I was talking about because we were talking about like PewDiePie, and we were talking about the radio show, and I was saying I want to do something more interesting.
Because he just does what he wants, and people gravitate towards.
That's what you said to me. You said just do what you want, and people will gravitate towards you.
You don't gotta impress anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And don't let me forget to not. if I don't mention Janice, she's been a big supporter of the music. My partner Janice. If I wouldn't be able to do it without her.
Oh yeah.
And also Randall Bishop. It's like all these names are coming to me after.
Yeah,
afterward.
Love Randy. He's a great guy. Just kind of going back to. Go ahead.
My golf buddy Lloyd Withers, he's out there somewhere. He'll be listening.
The laundry list of supporters.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it. I just want to share this though, because this came to me from talking with Bass about it. Like this morning, I was like, do what you love, and your tribe will find you, and you will find your tribe. And it was just one of those things that kind of stuck with me. And I like to share little leadership things or like little inspirational things with people. And so I'm gonna give you a shout out there, Bass. That was pretty cool that you inspired that. So, you mind playing a little bit of live music there for us, Bass?
Yeah.
All right. So here's Sebastian Messer, everybody playing on the radio. Awesome, Bass. Thank you. Could you hear him that time, Mick?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay. I don't know what it is. Like I've got everything ported through the soundboard, but actually unplugged the aux and I put the phone kind of over that way so you might be able to hear it. You have to listen to it on the replay. I'm sorry.
What's
But
he playing? What kind of guitar?
he's got an Ovation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's acoustic electric.
Okay, is acoustic? Is that what it is? Or
It's acoustic electric, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, my mom gave it to him as a graduation gift. This year he graduated, and so it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
Nice, yeah. I've got a Martin sitting in the closet. It's just the action's too hard for me to play a whole lot, so I stick with my Strat.
Nice. Yeah, I dabble a little bit. I'm not really a musician, but I enjoy it. I love live, listening to live music. That's one of the things I like. You know, talking about encouraging, you know, young people to play music. You know, I was talking to Bass about it. You know, he plays on my show, and you know, it's local live radio. You know, here in Savannah, we've got like 250,000 people that live in the population, I guess. I think in our area, you know, we got like 100,000 people just in our little listening area, you know, and I love it. I was telling, you know, to me, if I was a young person and I had a chance to, you know, be on, like when I was a kid, I listened to a lot of talk radio, right? I never thought I would be on the radio talking to people, having my own show. First of all, like if you'd asked me 5 years ago, Mick, when I first met Randy, hey, did you know in 2018 you're going to start a radio show? I'd be like, yeah, whatever, man, get out of here. You know, get out of here with that nonsense. And but here I am. And then I was talking to Bass about, like, you know, like I love having him come on the show and play music. You know, like it's one of the staples of the show, you know. So it's pretty cool to have you on, being able to, you know, share your music and, you know, talking about it. And I love the fact that you're trying to, you know, encourage kids to get out there and play. It's, you know, it's just one of those things. I feel like when people get into something like that, you know, whether any kind of performing arts, you know, dance, music, art, you know, where they're creating stuff, they're building things, they're doing things. It's a whole different world.
Yes, it is. We have a couple of actresses in our family that live down in Huntington Beach, and they're on TV and in movies, and it's humbling because they're 8 and 9 years old, right? Here I am trying to make it, you know.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. Yeah, that is a thing I think I like to encourage, you know, people, because I used to work at a college and I work with, you know, adult learning students, you know, and people, the average age of the student that we had was 35. Over 450,000 students were going to this school, and locally we had about 3,500 students, and you know, like I said, the average age was about 35. So I would always encourage students, like, you know, think about like how old you are now. Like I'm 44. 5 years from now, if I didn't do the thing that I love, how would I be? And I'm gonna be 49. 5 years from now, if I did the thing that I love, how would I be? 49. You know,
how many hours would you have spent on it trying to get better?
Right. I mean, like with the writing thing, you know, the publishing thing, I put out my first little fiction work in 2018, and looking back, like this year, you know, I've been stuck on stuff, you know, I mean, up and down or whatever. And even though I got this anthology out, I really haven't been doing a lot of my own projects. Not when I say my own projects, I mean like the books that I have, you know, that I wanted to write. And I was looking back and I was like, man, you know, it's kind of hard to see how much you've grown or changed day to day. But when you look back at like a period of time, like I was looking back at the old book, I was like, oh my gosh, I've learned so much since then, you know? Mm-hmm. So, yeah. I mean, it seems like the same thing with you, that, you know, like these 4 new songs that we played this, you know, today or whatever, you know, they're great, you know? And the stuff that you played before was really good too. Like the stuff I listened to before, like when we first started, you know, setting up the interview, but it's a progression, right? So, you know, how do you keep going, you know, like how do you keep making it better? Or like, how do you keep, you know, improving on stuff?
I don't really know. I just keep looking for new chords. Sometimes I find them, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I accidentally find them when I'm trying to go for something else. I go, oh, that's a mistake. Oh, that sounded good. You know, there's a couple songs that I wrote where I just kind of fell into it, But the bottom line is just keep playing, I mean, just keep writing, keep playing, keep learning, keep an open mind. It's just, and I listen to a lot of stuff outside of what we do. Like I listen to Clean Bandit, and I listen to Mayor Hawthorne, and I listen to a bunch of what's my daughter's favorite? Foster the People. Try to listen to new music too to kind of get idea of where we are compared to them. And we don't do, our sound isn't a new sound at all. Like you said, it's kind of, it's interesting that you call it surf music, because somebody else had mentioned that a while back.
Yeah,
you
like beach
sound
music,
like the Beach Boys, or you sound like the Beatles, or you sound like something from the 60s, and when actually all this new music is just being created now.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know.
It's definitely got a beach music vibe to it. But like I said earlier, we were talking about like this is new music. It just has, like that sound with it.
Yeah. Okay.
What sound were you going for? If I'm not hitting the mark.
What do you mean?
Like if you're not going for beach music sound, what sound were you going for?
Well, I would say my main influence has always been the Beatles. There's hardly anybody, I don't think there's any groups that have come close to doing what they did in the short period of time that they were together.
Oh, no, there's not.
I spent a lot of time learning about them and learning how, what made them successful. And
did you hear that story with Malcolm Gladwell when he was talking about Outliers? About the Beatles?
I did, yeah. I read that part about the Beatles and how when they came back from Germany, they were doing something completely different from what all the other bands that were doing in Liverpool.
Yeah.
So, or in England, basically. It was kind of, everybody was imitating Elvis still. And they were doing, a lot of R&B and just, going crazy on stage. And then I was reading this other book, and I can't think of the name of it right now, and it's in my library of... they all of a sudden they were kind of like mind melded, and they would stop doing stuff at the same time, not on purpose. They wouldn't talk about it. They would just stop, like they grow a mustache. Grow a mustache. Everybody grows a mustache. It's just they were so
trendy.
in sync.
Yeah, trending. Yeah.
And that 10,000 hours thing with Malcolm Gladwell kind of really taught me that that all that time they spent in Germany, as hard as it was, and they went several times. All the time they spent playing. And as gruesome as it was sometimes, that grueling, they just they pulled it together. They learned from it.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories. When did you decide that you wanted to start doing that with the Beatles influence?
Well, we've always done it. It's always been my main influence. Writing songs, I've kind of learned. When I was a kid, I took piano lessons, and I used to play on the piano all the time, and you learn, boogies and Liberace and different stuff, and I never really cared for most of it. And then I heard the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, and I went, oh wow, I better play guitar. My sister talked me into it.
Nice.
Like I told you before in the last hour, went out and bought the cheapest guitar I could find, and my mom said, well, you're left-handed. You're not going to be able to play that song. It's a right-handed guitar. And I picked it up, and I said, well, this feels natural to me, so I've always played right-handed. I write left-handed. I eat left-handed, but I play guitar right-handed.
Oh, that's awesome.
I play pool left-handed, right?
So you're kind of ambidextrous.
Right-handed. I golf right-handed. Well, ambidextrous kind of infers that you do it well both ways. And I don't.
Okay.
I kind of switch.
So what's
back
the word
forward,
for like when you do some things better with the right hand and some things better with the left?
Screwed up? I don't know.
No, you're not.
Goofy.
I didn't want to interrupt, but one of our other guest hosts is in the studio, Bill Cooper. Welcome, Bill.
Welcome. And I just would like to say to your guests, I can't hear you now. When I was in the car, I could. You mentioned the Stratocaster, and the first thing I ever knew about a Stratocaster was Buddy Holly.
Yeah.
Had a Stratocaster. And the thing about a set Stratocaster, and I'm not a musician. I wrote a couple songs, but I'm not a musician. But I noticed there's a like a ringing in the strings of a Stratocaster that you don't hear in other guitars. Am I correct?
You could be. I'm not that. I'm a bass player, so I play my Hofner, and I like the sound of it. I like,
Okay.
But as far as guitar aficionado, you should be talking to Dane or Steve. They've got the pedals and they've got all this stuff,
Uh-huh.
and they love to spend an hour getting everything set up to mess around with a song for 2 minutes. It's crazy. I love them to death.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Again, that's for being a bass. That would be different. But if you listen to any old Buddy Holly song when he's playing that Strat, the strings have almost a bell sound to them. Not loud, but enough to pick it up that it's a different guitar from other guitars.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I really like a lot of Buddy Holly stuff, but I haven't really paid that much attention to the
Cool.
strings and what they sound like.
And-
What's funny, sadly, Buddy Holly was killed in a plane crash near where we were inducted in the Iowa Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2014.
In Mason City,
His plane
right?
crashed in the field there.
Right.
Yeah. So. I think that's why they started the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there near Clear Lake.
Wow.
I'll tell you,
Clear
it
Lake,
is.
Iowa.
That was his last concert. Was in Clear Lake, but I was a Buddy Holly
Right.
fan when he was alive. That so I'm not a kid.
All right.
And that was heartbreaking. Him, Richie Valens, the Big Bopper. Richie Valens, 17 years old, gone.
Gosh.
And Buddy Holly was only 22 when he died.
Yeah.
I mean, all he had written and created in that, and the fame he had, he was only 22.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah, the day the music died, right? Don
Yeah.
McLean wrote that about them.
Yeah.
And his
American
band, the
Pie.
Crickets, was the inspiration for the Beatles getting their name as the Beatles.
Really?
They
Yeah.
thought Cricket was a great name for an English group, because
Yeah.
cricket, the game, and
Right.
And they
anyway,
also
so-
lined up on stage the same way the Crickets did. The Crickets originally
did they?
had two guitarists, a drum and a bass, a stand-up bass. And the second guitarist, his name was Nicky Sullivan. And the Beatles actually copied the way they lined up on stage.
I did not know
Oh,
that.
that's funny. I haven't heard that anywhere.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
the Beatles, the Stones, they love Buddy Holly music. It was so real. 3 chords. That's it. 3 chords. It shows you what you can do.
We were talking about, Bass and I were talking about that. There's a like almost all modern rock and roll, any kind of like what do they call it, pop music, any of that stuff. It plays the same 4 chords,
Yeah.
same 4 chords. It's just different the way it sinks in or out.
Variations.
Yeah, variations of it.
There's a violinist one says, "I already got it. Why should I go on?" You only play 3 chords. That doesn't matter. I already got it. Why should I move on?
We were talking the last hour about puns. Bill is a multi-talented guy. Mick, he actually it's kind of crazy. Yeah, pull up a chair there, Bill.
I shall.
Yeah. All right. Let me just say we're doing this show live on WRUU LP Savannah, Georgia, 107.5 FM, WRU.org. We are Savannah Soundings Community Radio with Global Soul, and I've got to do the station thing real quick. But
Sure.
can you hang out for a minute, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, I'm here.
I got to do these. So we're gonna do the little PSAs, everybody. And we're gonna be right back.
St. Joseph's Candler Health System offers Johnny's Bridges to Hope program, a support group for families affected by mental illness, on the second Monday of each month. Group meetings are held from 3 to 4 p.m. at Candler Hospital. A licensed clinical social worker will meet with families seeking support in dealing with a mentally ill family member. More information is available at 912-819-8498.
This portion of WRUU Savannah Soundings programming is brought to you by listeners and the Ships of the Sea Museum. The wait is over. The Ships of the Sea Museum has reopened. Learn about the West Broad Street School, the first publicly funded school for black children in Savannah. See one of 2 surviving weather kiosks in the country. And Ships of the Sea new Tour Buddy app allows everyone to discover what makes Savannah, Savannah. More information can be found at shipsofthesea.org.
Okay, so we're back, and Bill. I was telling you, Bill is a really multi-talented guy. He's just a really funny guy, very encouraging. You do comedy, right, Bill?
Comedy, acting.
You write.
Yeah.
And do you want to tell him about your song that you wrote? Because you told me about a song that you wrote last week.
I've written 2 songs. I mean, the first one I wrote, I don't know, about 15 years ago. And I just sat down and I says, I want to write a song. And that was it.
Yeah.
And the words came to me, and I didn't know what it sounded like because, as I say, I don't read music. But I liked the words, kind of a country beat in that. And I just kept saying the phrase over in my head until it fell into a rhythm. It starts off, I'm taking that night train to Coleraine. That's a town in Massachusetts. I'm taking that night train. And then I slowed it down. I'm taking that night train. And then it ended up as, I'm taking that night train to Coleraine. Taking that night train to Coleraine. And that's how it turned into, because I say, I don't know how to write music, and I didn't know what it sounded like. I didn't even know what I was going to write. I just sat down and I said, that's it. 20 minutes later, I had written it.
That's awesome. You know what? Since you're here, Bill, I'm going to play a song, one of the Silvers.
Super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one do you want to play, Mick? You want to play Nothing Left to Say, or do you want to play... we played Out of This
You
World.
want to play something new, or do you want to play something that you already played?
Well, these are the new songs, so I want to play these for the audience. So,
Okay. Did you hear "Stay with Me" or "Stand Up"? Either of those?
I don't have those on my thumb drive right now. I just got those 4 that you sent me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
those
right,
are on
well,
my Amazon Prime Music, but I don't have them on this thumb drive. But we could play. I've got the Nothing Left to Say. I've got Out of This World. We played Out of This World, so I can't play that again. I've got Try a Little Kindness, and then Lonely Little Christmas Tree.
Oh, okay. Well, Nothing Left to Say is Dane singing. That's a good poppy song.
Yeah, let's play this one, and then we'll talk a little bit more about some of that music history. That's cool.
Okay.
When I look into your eyes, I know that's where heaven lies. I looked for love for so long, always seem to get it wrong. Now we know we don't need to search for true love. It comes when you least expect it to. That's why all the words escape me. Speechless is the way you made me, 'cause you took my breath away. There's nothing left to say. All our friends say that we're crazy, think that we're not meant to be. All I know is things were hazy till you put your spell on me. My guess is they have a bit of jealousy, 'cause they don't have true love by their side. So we've chosen not to hear them, don't want us to be so near them. Let's tell them to walk away, there's nothing left to say. That's the way it has to be, until all of them can see all the love we have that's in our hearts. And now it's just me and you, knowing what we always knew. Our love will go on and on, feels so right it can't be wrong.
Can't be wrong, can't be wrong now.
True love found us when we least expected it. Took the chance to love and held on tight. Love you in so many ways, words fail so I'll show you every day. You take my breath away, there's nothing left to say. There's nothing left to say.
There's nothing left to say.
All right, that was "There's Nothing Left to Say" by the Silvers, and we happen to have
Nice,
Milk.
Mick. I like it.
Yeah, we have to have Mick Orton from the Silvers
great.
here.
Nice.
Yeah, you should have seen him. He's
You
over
like
here
the-
bopping his head.
Yeah, keeping.
Did you like the accordion on that one?
I loved everything in it. It just was smooth. It was, you guys put it together very well.
I was
Oh,
saying
thanks,
it
yeah.
reminds me of like beach music, and he was saying that his inspiration is more like the Beatles. So
I think if you had someone else singing right beside you, it would have been more Beatles. But it sounded good the way it was
I
too.
loved it. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty good
Yeah,
stuff.
Thank you.
Hey, you're
Pretty good
welcome.
stuff.
That nice, talented guy.
Yeah,
I hate to cut out, but I got
Okay.
a few things
Yeah,
to
you
do.
gotta get ready for
nice
your
talking
show.
to you, Mick.
the
and
Savannah
I'll see you,
at
Oh,
night.
nice.
and I'll see you in
Chad
the future.
Carvel and Bill and Koopa and the gangs.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you. What's up, Chad?
Not much.
All right. They got they have their show right after mine, Mick, and they do comedy and they do like a kind of like a variety show, kind of like a radio variety show, wouldn't you say, Bill?
Yeah.
We involve people involved in the arts.
Yeah, anything in the arts. That's why I was saying like a variety show because that's what it kind of reminds me of.
I'm reading. We have it all.
Yeah, like they literally had palm reader in here last week. It was pretty cool. They told Chad that he's going to find love and true fortune one day.
Oh, good. Well, that's important.
So
It's
anyway,
like calling the psychics on the telephone, right?
right. It was cool. Yeah, but I really like Bill because he's such a he's one of those guys. He's got his retirement, and he worked like 29 years or 30 years at the post office and was a postmaster and stuff, and he does this stuff for fun. You know what I mean? Like he does like his creative stuff for fun. He acts and all that kind of stuff, and he comes in the studio when he's getting ready to do his show, but I love talking with him too. And I thought it'd be kind of neat to introduce you to. But yeah, he wrote a song.
Yeah, I worked at the post office when I was in college. Like Janice says, "What job haven't you had?" She always tells. Well, I used to do that, and she go, "What didn't you do?"
I have 10 jobs, man. I have 10 jobs, man. That was in Living Color had a skit where it was like a Jamaican guy. It was like, "I've got 10 jobs, man." And like this guy would do like one of the Wayans brothers. He had like every job. He's like, you need something, I do it.
Well, I never spent any time at a job where I got really good at it, except for music. It's the only thing I ever did that I
That's
succeeded
cool.
at.
That's cool. Yeah. So we got we got about 13 minutes left, and we've been talking a lot about music and stuff like that. So. What you were talking about, the Beatles were a big inspiration for you, and I agree. I think the Beatles, and I loved the early Beatles stuff, and then I loved like when I was a kid, I listened to like the psychedelic type stuff that they did, like the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club Band, and I remember as a kid loving the Yellow Submarine. Like man, I loved that whole cartoon and the album. And I remember as a kid too, the day John Lennon died, like my dad was so upset, and he had this like little tape recorder, and he had Beatles tapes, and he played his Beatles tapes all day. So I remember as a kid, just liking it. I love the Beatles too. I think they're like definitely one of the most influential bands, the last 60 or 70 years or whatever.
Well, yeah, look, they broke up in 69, right?
Right.
69, 70. And look, they're still selling albums,
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they have a whole new set of fans, in addition to the people that have loved them all these years. The first time I heard them, I was taking swimming lessons at the high school, and then we had a class, and there was probably about 30 kids in different levels of swimming, right, in the pool. In the pool area, and they went into the office area and then blasted the Meet the Beatles album and played it over and over and over and over. And so I got, I don't know if everybody else got sick of it, but it was like, oh man, how many more times can you play this album? But we loved it. It was just so great. Such new music, new sound.
You know what made me think
I
of?
thought that, the I Want to Hold Your Hand was such an interesting chord progression, that I've never heard that before.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. That is, it just made me think when you're talking about that. You say you grew up in Iowa and then you got out of there as soon as you
Can I
could.
hear you?
You can't hear me? Hello? Let me see if you're... Let's see if the aux is there. You still there, Mick? Check your phone and see if it's muted. Well, what is going on? Let me try to... everybody, let me try calling him right back. This is live. We're going to call him back. Let's see. I'm trying to get the... There we go.
Hello.
Hey, Mick. It's Adam.
Did we get cut off?
Yeah, I think we did.
I thought maybe I hurt your feelings or something.
No.
All of a sudden I was gone. I'm going, wow, okay.
You're live on air, just by the way. I have to let you know that when I call you while you're on air. Anyway, you know what was that one movie? Was it it wasn't Flashdance or whatever. What was that one with Kevin Bacon?
Footloose.
Footloose. That's what it reminded me of when you're talking about, like, you grew up in Iowa and, like, you said you never heard the Beatles until you were in high school. And I was like, wow, this is so cool because, you know, it's like, did they just not play that kind of music or?
Well, when I grew up early on, I listened to when I was in grade school, everybody had a transistor radio, right?
Right.
And it was really cool to listen to it. And what's it, the jungle song? In the jungle, the mighty jungle,
right.
sleep. That was the big hit. And so after that, I started listening to that. And then I had a girlfriend named Sherry, and there was a song by what's his name? I can see his face. Not Paul Anka, but one of the other guys. You know, Sherry. You know, and so you know, it was just. I love the changes, the chord changes of that 50s music, but when the Beatles came along, it was like something completely different, and it was music that we could play because it was all guitars and bass and drums. You know? And so, like, we go back to the thing about, you know, encouraging kids to play music. Those are instruments anybody can play. Spend their time playing them.
I think it's cool, especially like you were talking about, you know, the 3 chords or 4 chords or whatever. They're not as hard to learn, but you can play them a million different ways, right?
I didn't say that. Bill said that.
Oh, that's right. I thought you said that. I'm sorry.
You get us mixed up because we're identical twin strangers.
It must be.
Yeah, no. What's funny is Bill had kind of an accent I picked up on. I wasn't sure if it was from, you know.
He's from a town called Lowell.
Lowell. Okay.
Yeah.
In Georgia?
No,
okay.
no. It's what is it? Massachusetts. Yeah. Lowell.
Oh, okay. So he's got back east. But he sounded a little bit British. I thought maybe he was tuning into the Beatles vibe or something.
I don't know.
Man, anyway,
kind of funny.
All right.
Are you back on the puns?
But yeah, no, not really.
Do you want to go back on the puns?
No, not really. Yeah, but the chords. You know, the thing is, you know, the progression is kind of, you know, based off of. Maybe 4 or 6 chords. Now, I think, you know, like for the song Try a Little Kindness, that has some really interesting chords in it. And like I said, I didn't really care for it when I wrote it. I wrote it, and then when Carl heard the demo, he said, well, let's do that one. We developed it because we had a hard time. I was ready to drop it after the first couple times. Like, this is just, you know, it's not.
Speaking of that, we have enough time actually before the show ends to play that song. So why don't we?
Well, that's Steve singing lead vocal on that.
Or do you want to play "Lonely Little Christmas Tree"? Which one do you want to play?
I'd rather hear whichever you want to hear.
All right, we're gonna do the kindness one.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So much better. Time to get rid of all the sadness now. Shouldn't we try a little kindness? We could all use a bit of love somehow.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead.
kindness. Just think how wonderful our lives could be.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead. Don't wait, there is no time to waste now. Let's try some kindness instead.
Try a little kindness. It is what is needed now. Change your mind and free yourself today. We can change things if we would try now. Actions are what we all are measured by. Now we should try a little kindness. Show them how good it would be if we tried.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead. Don't wait, there is no time to waste now. Let's try some kindness instead.
Try a little kindness. It is what is needed now. Change your mind and free yourself today. Let's try and make this world much better. We can imagine our new history. Shouldn't we try a little kindness? Imagine how wonderful the world could be.
We should make the choice to be happy. Join us as we look far ahead. Don't wait, there is no time to waste now. Let's try some kindness instead.
All right, so we are we were just listening to Try a Little Kindness, and that's a good song there, Mick. I like that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we had fun recording it. It was just a labor of love.
That's awesome. We got like 2 minutes left, Mick. So I know you said it in the first hour, but can you tell us where can people find out more information about the Silvers and your music?
Okay, the best place is to start with www.thesilversmusic.com, and any of the other handles that we use for Facebook, SoundCloud, YouTube, Twitter. It's all twitter.com/thesilversmusic. That's if you search for us, a lot of times what'll happen is you search for the Silvers, you'll come up with the 70s disco band, but that's not us. We're definitely the Silvers. SYLVERS is the Silvers disco band. We're the Silvers. SILVERS.
I gotcha. That's cool. Well, I really appreciate you being on the show today, Mick. It's been a lot of fun, and thanks a lot, man.
Well, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
So, all right. Well, we are going to wrap it up for this hour, everybody. Stay tuned.